Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Gia. I am a 28-year-old lady who, yes, still lives in my mom's basement. And today I wanted to go over my 2025 priority TBR. These are all the books that I said I would read but never got around to. I literally went back in time, like years on this channel, and looked back at every single TBR that I made and looked at every single book I did not read on those TBRs, and I decided to compile them into a list because those books are getting read this year, whether I want them to or not. We will get to them. They are on a priority flight straight into my reading list. I am recording this a little bit late into the year, it being May, and this should have been something that was recorded, say, back in January, but I didn't want to set myself up for failure. I wanted to read a couple before I said, okay, we have a chance at reading at least half of these. So if I have the book, I will hold it up. If I don't, I'll put the little picture up. I did not do this on purpose, but there are 20 books on this list here. I have read 3 of them, and I'm currently reading a 4th one. So we are getting somewhere. We're almost 20% there already, it being in the month of May. I will start with the books that I can hold up because I do have them in my possession, but the first one is A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I remember going to my used bookstore of choice back when I was buying books, which I did recently break my book buying ban. It was 489 days I did not buy a book, but before that, so this was at least 2.5 years ago, the girl at the bookstore said that this book is really popular, so seeing the entire trilogy in the store at one time was like kind of a big deal, and that I might as well just scoop it up. Really, she was selling me stuff. I mean, in hindsight, she was selling it to me, but I did buy the entire series. And I would like to eventually get to that because if I'd like to declutter it, I would like to do that if I don't want to bring it with me to my next living space. But I also know that Reads with Rachel really liked this series, and she and I tend to have really similar tastes. So I went ahead and I said, fuck it, I'll pick it up, and I haven't gotten to it yet. This one hurts, and this one is sad because realistically I've had so many chances to read this and I've put it off every single time that I even reread The Cruel Prince so that I could read, and I hear this is the best one and I haven't gotten to it, which is so sad. It's sad, really, at this point. It's getting ridiculous at this point that I haven't read this book because I started it and I got to about like here. I got to about like page 90 or 100, and then I stopped reading it and I never picked it up again, so much so that I even reread The Cruel Prince in 2023, and I still haven't gotten to it yet. So at this point, it's just sad. It's just sad. The next one being Three Dark Crowns. When I was in college, I was doing this thing where for Black Friday, I would go on Amazon and I would look for used books from like not quite a Goodwill, but like a used bookstore or a consignment shop that were selling books on Amazon for like less than $5, maybe $3 to $5. And I would pick up paperback copies of books that I wanted to read because I was trying to shop responsibly. But at the time, I obviously didn't have a bookstore to go to that I liked in Tampa, so I just ordered them through Amazon, and this was one of those books that I did that with. There are a couple actually on my shelf that I did that with. I don't remember which ones at this point. I think Red Queen and Glass Sword were others that I did that with. As we all know, I famously hated Red Queen, and I do have Glass Sword down there, but it's going to Goodwill. I don't want it. The next book that I need to get around to is Axiom's End by Lindsay Ellis. This is also very sad because I'm a huge Lindsay Ellis fan. I miss her every day. One of the very first videos that I posted on this channel back when I originally thought like, yeah, I'll start posting booktube videos, and then I posted I think 2 or 3, and it might have been about The Death Cure. I have a video that I still hold very dear to my heart. That was me reading chapter 55 of The Death Cure live on camera, and I cried on camera. That's a banger. That's an old blast from the past banger. But this book was on that list in that video. It was a spring TBR with 3 books on it in like 2018, and I have even bought all the books in the series, and I have not gotten to Lady Midnight yet. I know I'm upset with myself at this point. The fact that I've never read any of the books in this series, but I have all of them. I have fucking all of them down there. It's actually getting fucking ridiculous how many Cassie Clare books I have that I haven't read because I've been lazy apparently. And I want to say, not that that usually ends up leading me anywhere, but I think I'd really like to have a Cassie Clare revival in my life, because I'm not gonna declutter any of those books. I love them too much, except even though the fact I've only read half of them, but I haven't read The Infernal Devices in a really long time, and I remember that trilogy changing my brain chemistry when I was in high school. So I think I am in for a revival of Cassie Clare in my life. So not quite to the level of like how Carrie has done the plot summaries of the Mortal Instruments. I think The Infernal Devices would be an excellent one for people to dive into, because I read The Infernal Devices first. I will say that, even though it came out separately. I remember reading The Infernal Devices first because it came out chronologically in the series it came out first. So I read it first. Anyway, this next one is also really sad because I've had my hands on this book for a very, very, very long time, and we don't talk about her, but I have had this book in my possession for a really long time. So I really want to get around to reading it. Not to say that I'm going to continue with the series, but I'd really like to get around to reading it. Throne of Glass. So this book is in shambles. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know why it looks like this. The spine is like completely falling apart. It is a collector's edition that I bought at Target in like 2018 or 2019, and it has been in my possession for that long, and it is the only Sarah J. Maas book that I own physical. I think I have a few ACOTAR books digital, but I got those in like 2022. This last book has a story. I remember being in the anthropology building at the University of South Florida for like a bake sale. This was in like 2017, 2018. And there were PhD candidates that were coming to look at our department and look at the school. So they hadn't officially accepted offers yet, or they hadn't been offered official offers yet, but they were like pretty serious candidates to come to the university, right? So I got to meet some PhD potential candidates, which was really cool. And there was a man who had a book, and he showed me this book, and he said, "This book is really good, you should read it." And I said, "Slay." And then I did not buy that book for like 5 fucking years. I had a picture of this book in my camera roll for like 4 or 5 years until I was in graduate school. Saw it at the bookstore at a Books A Million 45 minutes away from my apartment because I was hunting for Pokemon cards. This was in the manic summer of 2021, I believe. And I saw a collector's edition of this book on the shelf, and I spent $40 on it, and I have not read it. Oh my God, I just flipped the book over, and I didn't know that there was a quote by this person on the back that is the jump scare I just experienced was immense. But the book is Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I have had this book in my possession for a long time. This is a 10th anniversary edition. So this came out probably like 2021, 2022, something like that. And I bought it retail for $40 and it's been in my possession for this long. I haven't read it because I bought it, and then years later when I realized that listening to audiobooks was probably a preferable way to read this, I actually have access to my friend's Audible account. We've been friends since middle school, and so whenever he recommends me books, he usually says like, "Hey, they're in my Audible if you want to know," so that you don't have to buy it yourself. It's always the friends from middle school that really like carry you into adulthood, I swear. I still have a copy of this book, right? Okay, so what I just said, when I flipped over the back of it and I read a quote from Lin-Manuel Miranda. What is Lin-Manuel Miranda doing on the back of my fantasy book? Really, that man is everywhere. Really, he truthfully is. He truthfully is everywhere. Those are all the books that I can physically hold up, right? Okay, so these are books that I physically owned. I am going to be doing a video. Who knows? I might record it after I do this one before I have stuff to do later. There is a video I'd like to produce where I'm going to go through every book I have in here, and I'm going to declutter a lot of them before I move because I don't want to take all of them with me. There are some that I would like to part with. Like, if I'm going to be honest, do I see myself taking 3 Dark Crowns with me to my next phase of life? No. I don't really see me taking that book to my next phase with me in life unless I really want to. So there are books on here that I want to keep, and there are those that I don't. So I would like to go through them and really declutter. I'd like to, ideally, I think, what I want to do is these are 2 black bookshelves from they're like Mainstay. They're like from Walmart, and they're stacked on top of each other. And then this brown one was my mom's, and she said I could take it with me. So I'm not quite sure if I want to condense all of my books to fit on the 2 black bookshelves or what, because this one's getting kind of old, so I don't want it to like break. So I don't know if I want to be able to condense all of them, because those are smaller too. If I could condense all my stuff to be on those 2 bookshelves, I probably won't be able to do that, but an attempt will be made. Other books that I need to get around to in rapid succession: I need to get around to starting the rest of the Witcher series. I have said that I would do that at least 3 or 4 times now. I need to get around to that. Next is A Winter's Promise. I don't remember which booktuber I heard talk about this book, but it intrigued me, and I probably will listen to the audiobook, but this one was really intriguing to me, and I'm excited to get my hands on it. Next is Hamnet. I would really like to dive more into historical fiction again. So I'm really trying to get back into that. So that's another example of that. Next is Last of the Talons. I think this was from an anticipated TBR, like an anticipated release for fall of 2022. The same one, next one was for Anastasia. I think this is by Sophie Lark. And I said that I was going to read this long enough ago that Sophie Lark wasn't in the limelight for doing something that people said was really controversial. And it was, to be fair. It was, to be fair. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to go about reading that, but I did say that I would read it. Next is Rust in the Root. That's another one on that video of like anticipated 2022 fall reads or something, where I listed like a bunch of books and I only got around to a few of them. Rust in the Root was another one. It was based on like the 1920s Gilded Age. And I think this one was the last one that was in that video that I hadn't got around to, but it was 1,000,000 to 1, which kind of to me looked like Ocean's 8 a little bit. This next one is the first book in a series that I was really intrigued by, and I really wanted to start reading it. I think I took the book out from the library, and then I think it might have been the wrong one. I think I took out the second book in the series, so I had to return it so I could get my hands on the first one. Some of these books I was only ever going to be able to get my hands on a physical copy from the library, and we all know how I feel about physical copies from the library. I don't like them. Why? Because I will hold on to them until they either tell me to pay for it or give it back, because I'm really bad about reading physical copies. As you can see from this stack of books over here to my right over here, I'm really bad at reading physical books. I don't know why. It's just gotten to that point. That's probably why I have such a big physical TBR, to be honest with you. But that's the Bone Shard Daughter. I've always been kind of intrigued by this series. I don't hear a lot about it, but I hear in general that it is a well-liked series. I think that that's all you need to know about a series before you start reading it. Is this good? What is the average Goodreads review? Does it interest you? Okay, go for it. This next one scares me because of how much I disliked another book by this author, but I was very intrigued by the premise of this, and I always found the magic systems to be kind of interesting. But Poison Study by Maria V. Schneider. One of the first ops I've ever had on this channel was the book A Touch of Power. Absolutely fucking hated that book. It was one of the worst books I've ever read in my life. Miss Snyder has another book series where it's all something study. I was very scared to admit that I wanted to give this author another shot. The first book was written in 2005. So Poison Study was written in 2005. So I'm going to try to have to go into this remembering that this was a 20-year book series by the time I picked it up. But I was intrigued by the fact that, the first title was Poison Study, and then it was Magic Study, Fire Study, Ice Study. Oh, wait, no, there's a bunch of 0.5s in here. Okay, book 1 is Poison Study. Book 2 is Magic Study. Book 2.5 is The Study of Magic. Oh God, that's funny. That came out in 2024. So she's still writing in this book series because Magic Study came out in 2006 as a book 2, but book 2.5 came out in 2024. Book 3 came out in 2008. So she's still writing. Book 3 is Fire Study. The 4 is Shadow Study, Night Study, Dawn Study. This one scares me. It's called Diaper Study. And I'm wondering if it is an aside where the main pairing has a kid or something, or it's fan fiction. I don't know. I'm very intrigued, but a little scared. I don't know. I wanted to give it another shot just because I thought that this should have been something that I liked. And I wanted to go back and see what I felt about it. but it was also written in 2005, so we'll see what happens. The other thing though is that the book covers got updated, and then when I saw them, I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of want to read this. Like, yes, was it published in 2005? Yes. Was it by an author that I read a book by that I didn't like in 2022? Yes, but the magic system seems interesting and the book covers look good, and I was like, okay, if the book covers were getting redesigned 20 years later, like there must be something going on here. So maybe I'm just gonna gaslight myself into believing that this is good. And then the last book on this list, which I am feeling might be one of the best ones. It might be the standout. It's also the one that I'm most excited to do. It's A Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I've heard lots of good things about this series. So those are all the books that I haven't read. But what are the books that I have read so far? The first one being A Darker Shade of Magic, which I loved this one. I rated it, I think 4.25 or 4.5, and I will be continuing the series. Next one was A Study in Drowning, which I rated 5 stars. I loved that book. I had to really sit with it and let it marinate before it really like resonated with me in the right way. So I was like, okay, yeah, I really want to continue reading this series, and it actually like was really profound and I really appreciated it. So A Study in Drowning I will be definitely continuing. And then Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I actually loved Six of Crows so much I immediately picked up Crooked Kingdom immediately afterwards. Like, I think I used an Audible credit to immediately get Crooked Kingdom because I was like, I have to start this now. I have to keep going. I have to read it now. Might as well just piggyback off of it. So, and I rated both Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom 5 stars. So really, that's the best one I've done where I've read the book and read the sequel. So, you know, that's the best one so far. And then I am currently reading Priory of the Orange Tree, and it is very slow. I will say it is going very slowly, and I really need to sit down on a day off and just listen to it and just like zone out and listen to it. I've been listening to it in too many like bits and pieces, and I think that might be why it has been such a difficult and slow read for me to get through, is that I'm not dedicating enough time to it. So I think I really need to sit down and actually like listen to Priory of the Orange Tree and get through it because I want to love it. I could tell you right now, I want to love it so bad. I want it to be a 5-star read, but I'm still like, I don't know, it's still kind of slow for me, but I'm working through it. Anyways, that is all from me. That was more of a casual, unscripted little hangout time that we just had here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me if you got to the end of this video. If you'd like to find me anywhere else, you could find me on Twitch and Twitter. Remember to drink water and be nice to each other and exude kindness and empathy with everything that you do, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!